Well, things are about to get interesting in Wyoming, and it's bad news for Liz Cheney. Despite going against her own party earlier this year, voting to impeach President Trump, she still wants to keep her seat in Congress come 2022, and she's running for re-election. But little does she know, or maybe she does, she doesn't stand a chance. President Trump is against her, and his political sway means everything in today's Republican Party. Just look at what happened to Ohio Congressman Anthony Gonzalez. He was another GOP House member who voted to impeach Trump. And as of last week, he announced he won't be seeking re-election. Why? Because his Trump-endorsed opponent is crushing him in the polls. So Liz Cheney can call in all her rhino friends, but they won't help. Not even George W. Bush, who is headlining her next big fundraiser. President Trump has endorsed Cheney's GOP opponent, Harriet Hageman. So it's game over. Chairman of the American Conservative Union, Matt Schlapp, spelled it out very well for us. He wrote, so far in 2021, President Trump's endorsement record in Republican elections is 10-0. 6 of those victories were in competitive elections to lead the national and state Republican parties. In 2020, 120 of the 122 candidates President Trump endorsed in congressional primary elections, they won. And the 2 who didn't lost to candidates who successfully ran campaigns by arguing they were, quote, more Trump than their opponents. Matt Schlapp joins me now. Matt, when you actually break down the numbers, it's staggering. 120 of 122, and yet Liz Cheney thinks she's going to be the exception?
Yeah, I mean, Pete, everyone has their opinions in politics, but in the end, the facts are what matter. And there is no question. I can just tell you from my existence of having people text me and call me, every Republican who's running for office who wants to win, and who certainly who's in a primary, is calling to figure out if someone can help them get a meeting with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago or Bedminster or somewhere else. It's what the whole game is. I've never seen anything quite like it, and I've spent my whole adult life in politics. And look, I think you call them rhinos. I sometimes call them establishment Republicans. There are Republicans in D.C. and New York City who pine for the days of politics that were more genteel. By the way, when they say more genteel, it means Republicans lost everything, but everyone got a scotch at the end of the day, and it was okay. They pine for those days when we all kind of got along better. But let me tell you who doesn't pine for those days. The Republicans across this country. Right. They want us to take on the Democrats, and they don't think rewarding people who voted for impeachment makes any sense at all.
You know, Matt, endorsements used to not matter all that much. Every once in a while on the margins, someone endorses you. It kind of helps with the grassroots or whatever. You're right. Every candidate I've spoken to, that is the only endorsement that matters at all. What is it about Donald Trump that makes his endorsement so powerful in all of these races?
Well, it's the comparison between how he used power and how Republican leaders normally use power. Donald Trump realized that he had a short period of time and had immense power, and that he had to use every moment of every day to push the agenda that he ran on. Usually what Republicans do is they kind of mouth things to voters about what they're going to do, and then quite honest, they get worried when they get the power and get into office because they know they're going to get attacked and destroyed by the media. Donald Trump was the first Republican at the national level who knew he was going to be every day attacked by the media, and it's almost like he reveled in it. He didn't make him stop. It usually makes Republicans pause. Donald Trump ran over it twice as fast.
No, you're right. That's your Romneys and your Ryans and your McCains. You get there in the swamp and you want the reporters to kind of like you, so you feign like you're fighting, but you actually know you're going to lose, and then you go back and become a campaign conservative and try to convince voters to send you there again. It's all true. The race, handicap the race for me. Liz Cheney basically v. Donald Trump in Wyoming.
Yeah, you know, when Donald Trump has picked somebody in a primary like this, I don't see any way that candidate loses. Now, if you have multiple candidates in a primary situation, that could help an incumbent like Congresswoman Cheney. But these impeachers are going down. And why are they going down? Because they thought they were going to push Trump off the stage, which is kind of what Republican presidents have done. They've moved off the stage. He's right in the middle of the stage. They just mischaracterized everything. And the saddest thing is people in Wyoming love the Trump record. Why would they want to send someone to Congress to represent the whole state who's telling us that the Trump record was corrupted by the fact that he wanted to fight so hard to get these things done? It's a discordant message. And I've struggled with this myself, Pete. I played the game of trying to get along in the town of D.C., and they still didn't like me. And you know what? I feel much better having been repudiated and rejected by them. The party will make a lot more progress if we simply do the right thing. And I think that's a lesson that Donald Trump taught us.
No, you're right. He taught all of us that. A lot of us had that conversion moment. Who cares what they say and their cocktail parties? I don't want to be invited anyway. And that's why Donald Trump is the...
You know what we're doing, Pete?
What?
We're just having our own cocktail parties, and it's great. And you're invited.
You know what? I'd like to have a cocktail party with you. Let's do it. Let's get it on the calendar. Matt Schlapp, you're the man. Thank you. Thanks for breaking down the numbers. That matters. It's real.